to Upstage Downstage with him, Richard Platt, seated in the upper circle.
And him, Stephen Rees, typically seated in the cheap seat.
This is the Theatre Podcast, where we discuss productions we've seen,
Things we've liked,
and may not have liked,
giving our complete unprofessional
and non-biased opinions.
So grab a brew,
Take a seat,
and let's raise that curtain.
On today's episode, we'll be discussing The Addams Family, the musical. We saw this production at Leicester Curve Theatre on the 26th of July 2025. The Addams Family is a musical comedy with music and lyrics by Andrew Lipper and book by Marshall Brickman and Rick Ellis. The show is based upon the Addams Family characters created by Charles Addams in his single-panel gag cartoons, which depict a Gaulish American family with an affinity for all things macabre. Although numerous film and television adaptations of Addams' cartoons exist, the musical is the first stage show based on the characters. So Richard, what's it all about?
Wednesday Addams, the ultimate princess of darkness, is all grown up and has a shocking secret that only Gomez knows. She's fallen in love with a sweet young man from a respectable family. With his cherished Morticia in the dark, will Gomez manage to keep his daughter's secret until the two families meet for a fateful dinner with hilarious consequences?
But first, our post-show opinion!
Well, that was certainly a thing.
Was that it? So, with all that said, let's
Set the scene.
Shall we begin by describing the set and setting the scene for the Addams Family, the musical?
Yeah.
It was basically a great big A, wasn't it?
It was also a deconstructed house, as in the Addams family's house around the proscenium arch. So you'd got the windows and the shuttered windows that have got light coming through them, and the chimney or the front part of the house where the doorway would be.
Yeah. What's that called?
And the A was almost the gates to the entrance to the
House.
the grand drive up almost.
Yeah. I mean, it did look really nice, to be fair. It looked very fitting with the Addams Family and everything.
Yeah, it was effective.
Yeah, I think because it started like that and it was accompanied with an overture.
Yeah.
That just went on and nothing really moved. So whilst we were listening to this piece of music, we were just basically staring at the stage with nothing else going on.
And it was also the only time really we heard the original soundtrack, as in the Addams Family tune almost.
But I think I can remember saying to you at the time, if nothing was going to happen on stage, then at least do something visually interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Rather than just have the typography on there, you know. Like having New York City scape with moving parts where it's as if we're
heading towards
their house.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know, like whether that's
he's setting the scene, as in giving you a bit of a location of where it is that it's actually in a modern day world, and it's still old and it still looks like it's from the 40s and 50s almost.
I mean, they could have just done that with a little bit of animation or CGI or something just to accompany that overture.
Yeah.
Because I think it must have been about 2 minutes where we were just sat, well, it felt like 2 minutes, if not 5, where we were just staring at a blank, well, not a blank set, but a set with just the A and the gates and nothing happened.
Yeah, it did feel, and I can see that. It was
very lacklustre,
yeah.
If it's supposed to have been like this grand opening of something, this great play that we're going to see.
And I suppose in some of the classic musicals, they do have quite a long overture and with curtains shut and things like that. But I think this just didn't have the oomph that you were expected.
Well, I think with the classic play or those, they had long overtures because it meant that people could get to their seats.
Yeah, exactly.
And stuff.
Yeah,
but,
and it was also a chance for the actual orchestra to show off their abilities prior to it actually starting, and it was like a welcome into the stage, whereas this just felt a bit like, are we starting yet? Or
yeah,
what
we're all sat down, we've all turned our phones off and put our cameras away, and we've all stopped, fidgeting.
Have we?
So get on
Not
with
everybody.
It. Well, it just seemed to be that, yeah. Anyway.
Well, no, I just felt like they tried to create that, but it didn't have that. It didn't have that star quality to push that It just
it
felt like they were doing it to tick a box that this is how a musical starts, and that's
agreed.
When
It wasn't a greatest opener for a show.
No. I think for me, the one I'd point fingers to for you is the opening to Mary Poppins has an overture, and that's really grand and really like it's very specific, and you know that you're going on this almost. It's pulling you into the production.
Whereas it's visual, isn't it?
But even though there wasn't a lot of visuals, it was quite calm in the visuals. It's actually quite.
But something happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think, and that's the difference between the preset or the prologue just worked in that, whereas this just
didn't happen, did it? Really,
it didn't. No.
And I think that sums up pretty much how we felt about the whole show. So stick with us.
Yeah, it's going to be a bumpy ride.
Oh dear. So what other things could we say about the set, Richard? My goodness.
I mean, for me, overall the set was good, apart from the crossroads style wobbly flats at the back. When the door was opened and all the flats moved, like as in the back wall, and there was an entrance through the staircase.
Yeah,
the doors open and all the flats are moving around, so they were.
It could have been a little bit more secure.
They weren't as secure as especially when they're using them for entrances. It was very obvious that they either weren't touching the floor or they weren't secured for those door entrances and things like that.
Yeah,
it did feel a little bit.
Yeah, but on the whole, the inside of the house and everything that did,
the aesthetics
it looked really good, and I think they nailed it really in terms of what they were hoping to achieve.
And I like the use of height because they made the most of the stage area, so sets went right up, and it's very easy when you do a house to almost enclose that. And actually, they made the most.
They normally bring it down.
They bring it down. Whereas this, you can get away with a grand hallway or a grand, every room can be quite spooky and big and vast. Almost.
And they had the hallway where they'd enter through the door, but the door was elevated, so they walked down into the main entrance.
Yeah, exactly.
The lobby, the reception room of the house. So the use of stairs, but in a different way.
And also, I talked about the proscenium arch being the sort of front of the house. The windows with the shutters, there was 2 balconies at the front as well that were actually used at a couple of points in the production, to just to bring you into the house feel and,
Yeah, they were mostly used for, I suppose, the narration.
They were, and Fester used it a couple of times, I think.
Well, he was mostly doing the narration, but we did get the Wednesday and her lover on the balcony at some point, didn't we? Mm-hmm. As well. And I think was it Leslie Joseph as Nan?
Yeah.
Did she go up there at one point?
Yeah, I think there was one point, yeah.
So I think they were used for not just for the narration. I don't know why I even said that now. Completely contradicted myself there. So they were just used. So let's just talk about the costumes that they had for the Addams Family. I felt the majority of the cast had some really good costuming that really suited their characters. However, there was one costume actually for Wednesday which I felt was really off.
Yeah.
So for me, if you think of Addams Family and the characterizations of them all, it's as if they're like dressing in Victorian dress wear during the present day, just
at
to be
all times,
to be different.
Yeah.
And eccentric in that kind of way. Whereas the Wednesday we got in this production felt like she was more of an emo or a goth. She felt she was dressed in current day gear rather than it being really creepy.
Yeah, exactly.
Victoriana.
Yeah.
Like she looked more like Lydia from Beetlejuice.
Yeah, it should have been more highly corseted, and it needed to feel more
like a sort of buttoned up those dresses that they had and flat shoes, but she was wearing really thick wedged boots.
Yeah, very steampunk rather than, and it just didn't.
I mean, again, it's about her coming of age, but
I think all the references, like you said, about it being modern day, and she's still conforming to that style.
Yeah,
and it's like we've made a change that actually shouldn't. She shouldn't be between. She's not rebelling against the family because there is an element of her liking to be that different person. And I think I also reflect that as well with Pugsley, because one thing that really wound me up with Pugsley is he was basically wearing baby grows all the time and things that actually made him look a lot younger than Wednesday, when actually there was only a year or two different. It wasn't like Pugsley was a baby.
He was still
he was a troublemaker with Wednesday.
Yes,
and it felt like we portrayed him as some sort of
like he was still babyish.
Yeah, and he was just as much a troublemaker as his sister. His sister encouraged him.
Yeah.
So he was the one that went and did things. But this just felt like they'd aged him a lot younger than actually he was.
Yeah.
You know, which I found a bit weird.
It was a bit weird, wasn't it?
And I think as well, when you've got characters that are playing polar opposites, as in the traditional American family, you need the Addams family to completely stand out from that.
Yes.
Because if they don't, it blurs the line a little bit to like, well, it's just sort of, you know.
And also what you were saying about Wednesday going against her family, she was also, whilst you could say she was going against society, and where I suppose goths and emos, they wear those kind of clothes to rebel against society as well. Wednesday seems to be her character seems to be a lot more than that. It's not like she's trying to fit in either.
No, exactly.
She doesn't want to fit in. So whilst it doesn't seem right for her to be wearing those kind of clothes to fit in to the stereotypical person who's trying to fight against society in current day. It's I still don't think she would wear stuff like that.
No, and I also feel like if she was wearing stuff like that, she'd have a group of friends that are influencing what she wore. But we never saw that. We just saw that she's Wednesday, that this is how Wednesday looks, and it's like...
I mean, you take the Netflix Tim Burton series. She's still wearing, even though it's the same...
Everything.
Character going through the... I was going to say change then.
Yeah.
She's going through her...
Coming
of age story. She's still wearing those Victorian...
It's all
like
Victoriana, and it's all very, very lacy, very dark and gothic, and there's a difference between a goth and gothic.
Exactly.
And I think that's the
misstep here.
And also to have short hair and to look. Yes, it shows that somebody's rebelling, but it just
should have her own way of rebelling.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be done in her style, but that is just very current day style.
And I also felt like there wasn't really much of a nod to the dark arts that she used to practice, or the like, you know, all the little references that she's actually quite a specific character where she believes in a lot of that, the Ouija board, the whole, you know, all those speaking to the dead. And I feel like that's where that Gothic and Victorian look comes from. It's like there's more to it than just...
Well, it's as if they lived in a period of time that wasn't the current day.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's the whole point of where they come from, whereas they've sort of like modernised her to a point where she's not her anymore.
And I think it's interesting you mentioned Tim Burton, because all his work is very hot on the actual specific sort of costumes people wear and how they look and how it feels through, you know, to reference the previous versions of them.
Yeah. So was there any other costumes you want to mention? Because I think the costumes were relatively okay, apart from
I like the fact,
Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that the almost helpers or the people in the house that were set movers, dance sort of ensemble, were all almost ghosts in the house, which was quite a nice nod to just apparitions to be seen, changes and things.
Well, they were previous family members, weren't they?
Yeah,
which
exactly.
was interesting.
Yeah, although there's a few family members we didn't have, which was very strange as well. The key ones that sort of would have been mattered, you know.
But I do wonder if this was because this musical is directly taken from Charles Addams' gag sketches, drawings, comics. If Cousin It was like a later thing.
No, I think Cousin It was in those as well.
I don't know. But that's the only thing I can think of.
Oh, the other costume thing that was really wound me up as well was Thing's costume.
Oh.
because all I saw was Thing was a long arm, not a blacked out arm. It was like a massive long arm, and I thought Thing was cut off at the wrist. And there was a few times when Thing's hand came through the letterbox where it was his whole arm rather than just, even if they'd blacked out part of the arm. To detract from that, it just looked a bit. It was a bit like we've got to have a Thing on stage, but we'll just shove a hand out to do it, and it just felt a little bit.
Let's park that for the character bit, because then we can talk a little bit more on that and what we think they could have done.
Yeah, true.
But you quite right.
I think
there.
from a costume, from a distraction perspective, it was a little bit off.
Yeah, but other than that, the costumes were okay.
Yeah.
What else? Another prop thing, which not necessarily an issue as such, but it was part of a scene. It was a torture scene.
Yeah.
Between Wednesday and Pugsley, and he was just like lying down on that thing being stretched.
Oh yeah,
do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know this is going to crop up a bit later on when we talk about the writing of it and the pairing. For me, that particular scene of stretching him on that thing just felt a bit cumbersome and not right in a way. I mean, it's right that she's doing that, but it just felt like there was a better way of doing it.
Yeah, you've just reminded me of another prop bit that I also noticed, and I think you did as well. Pugsley was meant to be going to sleep in a coffin.
Oh, in a tomb thing. Yeah, that's right.
But it was just a big box. It didn't look coffin-like.
I think it was just meant to have looked like a tomb, but it
didn't feel like it. I think when you opened the lid, it just looked like a box, and it was a bit like it just didn't. Yeah, I think they've gone to all this effort of the whole stage looking gothic and this, that, and the other, and then that came out, and it was a bit like it's just a box. Yeah, it just felt a bit.
I did have a point to make on that one, I think, but I didn't write it down.
I think it was when Morticia was singing a lullaby.
That might have been it. It probably would have been one of Morticia's things, I've got to say. But other than that, I think we've covered it here, haven't we? Yeah. Great set, great costumes, bar a couple. Right, let's move along to Here for the Drama.
Moving on to our next segment, as we say, we're here for the drama.
Right, Richard, let's talk the actors, or the characters, the direction and the writing here on this little section. And we've got lots to talk about. Yeah. So let's just pick up on the subject of The Thing and carry that on before I forget.
As long as you put a hand in.
Well, talking about hands in, the hand in the letterbox. Of all the things you could do on that stage, you kept the thing to a very small space.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much through the letterbox where you did actually see the whole arm.
Whole arm coming out of the letterbox, which was really weird. And I think it was also, it felt throwaway. I think it just felt like, what's the point of, it's like, because I will talk about it now. We didn't have a cousin it, or we didn't have the iconic things extra. And it's like, these are characters that don't actually need a character. These are characters that don't need a named person to do it. You just need one of the cast to be involved in creating that character, And Thing, for me, it's almost a puppet that you can have at different parts of the production.
Yeah.
If you're not going to do it, don't bother. Because if you're going to just shove it through a letterbox...
Yeah.
Well, no, it didn't go through a letterbox. Thing did.
Yeah, it didn't.
It didn't show up.
There's no hairy thing go through the letterbox.
It stood outside when it was raining. Okay. Yeah. Got wet, couldn't come in.
But you could have got someone completely blacked out in costume and done it so you just saw the hand go down the banisters, or used it in different pieces of the set.
And I think that's almost like, because Thing was very good at handing things to people, or holding something like a goblet or something. And I think it was...
Through the letterbox on the door.
But also, behind the chaise longue, there could have been something where Thing, get me a glass of wine. There's little moments that you could have... I think Thing was never in the script. And it felt like... And Thing's quite a big part of the cast because it's almost like that pet.
Well, I was going to
that's
say
around,
it's a pet.
you know. And I think you lose the depth of the family when you start not having those bits in there, you know. And I think that's because in a way your production is quite static in it's almost sitcom based, so it's one location, one place, so you've got chance to play with things like that. And you know, it's like bringing Kermit out on stage, isn't it? It's that sort of just a hand. It's a hand.
Yeah.
You know, so I do think there could have been other ways to cleverly bring that in, but maybe it was never written in the original, you know, the musical itself, because this isn't the first time it's been on. So it just seems strange not to incorporate those parts of it, really. Because also, I don't think you saw it straight away, did you?
Well, I saw it
Thing,
with you.
Yeah, but what I mean, no, Thing itself coming through the letterbox, it was very quick. As in, you know what I mean?
I saw it, yeah.
But it's not. It felt like it was just done to like that's it and move on. It didn't. It didn't feel like.
No, it was just more underwhelming of that, you know. But again, perhaps what they could have done is used Thing cleverly during the overture at the very beginning there.
Yeah, even if Thing was conducting the orchestra that wasn't in view.
Exactly.
You know, it's just, but it
right at the back with a stick going like that or whatever, and then disappeared. That would have been something special.
Yeah, but it just felt throwaway, didn't it?
Yeah. For me, the character of Lurch felt quite tiresome as well, because once you've seen someone walk slowly across a room once, because they repeated it a fair few times, it withheld the tension and the comedy.
Yeah.
It prevented it. You know, you're just hanging around waiting for him to just move, and it stopped being funny.
Well, there was a few moments that just sapped the life out of this production because of...
And that was one of them.
And it's the labouring of things like that. That it's like, yes, there might be iconic things from the TV series or the film or whatever, but on stage you can't linger to the point where it just becomes, you've dropped the energy.
Yeah,
you know?
I get the fact that he were like walking slowly, but then you could do that for one joke or whatever at the start.
Yeah, exactly.
But then when he's doing it again, you just carry on the scene, and he does that in the background, so you're not distracted by it.
Then it creates layers.
Because I remember when he was walking down the stairs after opening the door, he was going along to the creaks of the stairs. But the creaks were played live with the band. What would have been quite funny, considering this is a comedy, was where if on the last step he went to do it but he didn't land, and then the he could have played with the band, so they could have like hit the note or whatever, and then he could have just give like a bit of a twinkle or a look to the audience or something.
Exactly.
You know, you could have interacted with the audience or played a little, because he was sort of doing that in a way, because I remember you saying that this was like an American panto.
It is,
but without the comedy.
It is, basically. That's what it felt like. It was like you got all the entrances and exits of a normal panto, but with just drawing the life out of us. And maybe, you know, there was a lot of, you know, references to the dead on stage, but it felt like it was sapping our souls a little bit.
So what did you say?
Sapping our souls.
Yeah, I thought that's what you didn't say.
But I think as well, that was also very relevant for sometimes, well, most of the time when Morticia folded her arms.
Let's cut to her, shall we? Because...
and it was the same thing.
Every time. It was very one note.
It was.
And her...
so to explain, she'd walk out and fold her arms in a very...
stereotypical Morticia look.
But like, every time she entered... She did the same.
It's as if they took one picture of Angelica Houston doing it, or whatever.
Yeah,
thinking,
exactly.
That's Morticia. That's iconic. Let's do that. Yeah. But if you actually see that film, for example, I mean, I'm sure every Morticia since has done it differently. But these characters were not dead.
No,
they just lacked emotion as such.
But they were also into things that... They were more in touch with the dead, or there was more spook and acceptance that there is another world, or people pass over,
and they get their enjoyment and their kicks and their like smile or their smirk from those kind of things.
Yeah, and also
they would still be like enjoying those things.
And that isn't just one moment. Like I think the only time you saw Morticia have some personalities when she danced with Gomez, but then that was a bit like, and that was in the second half, right? The way, like, it wasn't even, you didn't get any warmth when there is warmth. It's just a different time of warmth.
But she even lacked sensuality as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Morticia, she is that kind of sensual character with Gomez. They are very much in love, but you never got that.
No.
All you got was someone parking and barking, but with crossed arms.
Yeah, exactly.
All the time. And it just made it difficult to watch, because not only had we just had Lurch walk across really slowly, sapping the joy and energy out of the play, but you've also got Morticia sort of moping around, walking around like a bloody Dalek, crossing her arms, and with a deadpan voice.
Yeah.
Her put on American accent. And there was no like peaks or valleys. There was no enjoyment. There was no twinkle in the eye.
And I think that's what. Yeah, it's that.
There was no energy there. It was very much, oh Gomez, what have you done now? Oh, that is so terrible, or whatever. I don't know what she said.
I think you've got it right. Where it's, the way I sort of see it is, there's links.
Go on.
I'm trying to get my word. I'm trying to say what I'm saying.
Well, it just made the play very awkward and wooden half the time. It was very lifeless.
I think for me, this is what I was going to say. I felt like they'd lost the point that Morticia is the matriarch of the family. But not just the matriarch that's boring and life sapping. She says it. She can say so much more with so little words, and you got none of that power. It was just slowed and delayed and not, but it wasn't, that isn't power. It was just felt delayed and
it was depression. That's what it was.
It didn't feel control, whereas with Morticia, she might not crack a smile, but she wants to, or she might not this,
even
but
if she did
can
smile,
raise her eyebrows, or she can do a thing.
She'd control it so it'd be a smirk or something. Yeah. She don't want to let you in, but she, if she's happy or sad.
Yeah.
And
Gomez snaps that the minute Gomez is around, he breaks that, he gets through.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to her being central and in love, you really ought to see that when they do the tango. Yeah. But you never even got that. That was very much, it was a hard watch as well. Whilst it sort of, it was okay with the dancing, the whole moving around with it, and it was as if she was out of beat, out of sync.
And I think the whole point of the Wednesday character with Morticia is, when Wednesday's coming of age, Morticia sees it as a bit of a competition. So they're out almost to compete with each other on how clever or witty they can be. So I feel like that wasn't explored enough. Like, there's more to that
dynamic.
Because it's less of the alpha male dynamic in this family. It's more Morticia's the matriarch, and Wednesday's challenging that role almost. She's becoming stronger in her.
Exactly, because Gomez is on her side.
Exactly.
And that's the plot, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't think it felt like there was that competition. I felt like it was more...
Well, you didn't have confidence in Morticia.
No, exactly.
Because when she was doing the tango, she kept looking down. Yeah. Like wondering where she's going to step. Now, I don't know if that was an actor's choice.
It's hard to work it out, isn't it?
Direction or whatever, but it was hard going. It wasn't enjoyable.
No.
Now, do you want to just talk about Pugsley a little bit more? Because I know we touched upon his character slightly. Because he was played childishly.
Yeah, I think too childishly as well. I think there was moments where it was almost like adult baby type of acting, rather than actually being a teenager, because Fester always would have distracted or been a troublemaker with, Fester's the one that almost comes down to Pugsley's level, so that there can be little little like they start blowing things up, or they're playing pranks on their sister on his sister, and I felt like it almost went to, I don't know, like a weird, just playing way too young for the character. It just if Wednesday's coming of age, then Pugsley's not far behind.
No, they've left him back in.
Yeah, there we go. Wednesday's 15 or 16, while Pugsley's 13, 14.
Yeah.
Pugsley's 2 years younger, consistently. Yeah. So there's only should be a couple of years difference, not a massive
5 year
gap. Or he's still going to school and going. There's still. It just seems really weird how he's almost. He felt like he'd regressed, and I thought he should just be getting cleverer with what he does to cause havoc. It's like in the films. The two main films. Even then, when they're selling lemonade drinks at the front stall and they've mixed them with Lurch, and I feel like there was bits where even Lurch was out with them when they were out as kids or whatever, and I just think it felt,
even he smiled.
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like the placement of the character was wrong. I just think I don't know if that was a choice with this production or it's hard to work it out really.
I felt on the flip side of that Gomez was well cast, and Alice as well. She was brilliant.
Yeah, she was.
They suited their roles really well.
Yeah, they did.
Plus Alice's husband.
Yes.
They took on more of like the Republican approach.
Yes, they did.
Of their family, and they played well, and they suited well along with their family and their son as well. So all that I felt they got right. Now Leslie Joseph played the Nan, but for the Nan I felt she was sort of like neither here nor there.
It was weird because even in the black and white versions of the Addams Family, the Nan was almost always around making a potion, doing this, that, and the other. And I felt like there wasn't much in the script for the Nan character in this.
No, not at all.
Just there.
She was there just to provide a service of tinkering with the bottles for somebody else to have.
Because if I remember right, she used to live under the stairs. As in...
Yeah, she also made dinner, didn't she?
Yeah.
She was the cook as well, so she prepared stuff.
But she always used to make random food, and I feel like that wasn't even touched on in this. They had a big banquet, but the food wasn't...
Well, that's it. There was no scene of her in the kitchen making stuff. And again, what they could have done is have Wednesday and Pugsley...
helping her prepare stuff.
Or not bickering, but torturing each other in a kitchen scene instead of that, when they're trying to pull each other, stretch him.
Yeah.
They could have mingled that with the Nan.
Yeah.
In the kitchen doing potions.
And it could have actually been quite a funny scene because, you'd have had more of the interactions would have been better, and it'd have been good distraction from, it'd have had a bit of fun in the middle of everything, I think.
Yeah.
And I think it just felt like, we'll just wheel Nan out and we'll do this, and it just felt, I don't know.
She did feel like she was there just to be wheeled out, just for a plot contrivance, really, of just moving it along for the potion to be had from Pugsley.
Yeah.
Other than that, she served no real purpose, I suppose. In that,
not
which
enough.
Is unfortunate. Well, not enough at all, because she was kept away from the family for the lot of it. Apart from the group numbers that she sang in, there was very little interplay there. Let's just talk about Uncle Fester, and then we can probably move along to the whole writing of it and the musical numbers of it. Uncle Fester, again, was great. He had a good costume. He had great stage presence. He spoke... Well, he narrated parts of it, and he's the one that interacted with the audience.
And I also think he got the right awkwardness and the kookiness.
Yes.
The almost unhinged. It's that.
Yeah.
It's that, like, the uncle that had smashed a bottle over his head, and it's that he got that level of performance in him. And I felt like there was a couple of moments where I think his diction there was a few times I couldn't hear everything he said, but I don't know if that was my issues or but there was a couple of moments where I felt a bit lost in what was being said, but I don't know if that's just the speed of saying certain things or whatever. But overall, it was great.
Yes, it was. As was Mal and Lucas Benicki. So that was the father and the son as well. And I've not really got much to say about them because they pretty much... their characterisation was spot on all the way through.
Yeah,
and was. Not just from the acting point of view, but I mean in terms of the writing of the characters. They served the plot.
Yes, they did.
I think the issues I have comes down to the main Addams family as a whole.
Yeah.
But I suppose Gomez and Uncle Fester. Now, saying that, let's just move along to the whole plot of the story, because
This won't take long then.
No, but Uncle Fester has a side plot, and it's about talking about being in love with the moon. Now, I don't know about you, but I just felt like that was a bit of a distraction from, because the main plot is Wednesday bringing her new lover there, so they've got the main point that it's Wednesday's play.
Yeah, exactly. And it's there, and it's the opposite parents coming in to meet. It's very first boyfriend, very, very. It's just very predictable in the style of writing. To be fair,
it's given me Heathers. It's given me Easy A. It's given me that kind of American teenager don't fit in.
Yeah,
I've got
teenage
a boyfriend.
romance. We've got a boyfriend.
Yeah,
blah, blah,
so
blah.
it's been done to death. But that's exactly where it went. But Uncle Fester had the subplot of being in love with the mood, so he was talking about that, and he had a song about it, and it just felt, whilst it was sort of weird and you can see it fitting in, it chewed up an awful lot of stage time when it could have been best served of him interacting with the family.
Exactly.
I felt, and being weird. Like, you could have seen him torturing or doing tricks with either Nan or on Lurch or with Pugsley, and got them involved a bit more, and just brought the whole family together rather than them all having their separate little things.
It's a little bit like, I expected more of let's go and wake the dead up, let's go and bang on some graves, or let's go and do this, or let's go and do that.
Cause some mischief tonight.
Yeah,
or
and
something.
I just felt like it was a weird thing that it didn't feel otherworldly, because it's like, for me, with this obsession of gothic and gothica and really like dark, almost worshipping the dead to a point of or acknowledging that these people are still alive even though they're not, they've passed over. To worship the moon's got no real relevance to the. It's just because we've got a moon on stage that we can worship it.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is if they've taken a bit of Fester's being obsessed with a woman or a person in the second film.
Yeah.
And because the first one, it was all about him in trying to be the Uncle Fester that he wasn't.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's what it was. I can't remember now. But he was trying to impose himself into the family. Yeah. Whereas the second one, he was going, he was after that girl.
But then interestingly, for me, the better twist would have been the infatuation of the mother of the other family. When she got dark, that should have been more of a twist.
Yeah, that could have been his.
That could have been the obsession.
The moment he saw her, he also liked her as well.
Because that's what you'd expect more.
Keep it in the family.
But also the complete juxtaposition of going, I actually fancy somebody who's prim and proper.
Yes.
Like complete, like that. And I just felt it just. To sing a song to the moon was a bit.
Joan Cusack, that's the one.
That's the one. Yeah.
Sorry,
but I just felt like it was more of a distraction tactic as a piece of theatre to see him worship the moon than actually.
I get where they were coming from, because he's very romantic, and it's weird. But in this musical, it just felt like it was just stretching it away, because you had Gomez's storyline, you had Morticia's storyline about having the meal. Or that, I mean, I know that was like Wednesday's wanting to get it right, but you had so many different characters, including Pugsley, who all he wanted to do was have his sister play with him again, and never leave him.
Yeah.
So that was like every now and again popping up, but because there was so many of them, it all got a little bit weak.
But I don't think it was enough with the Pugsley thing. There should have been more him trying to impress her by doing more devious things, or this,
with Uncle Fester,
exactly, and to try and entice her back in, because she would have been in on it as well. Like they would have been if they were younger, and that's why it was a bit,
I think I said at the time, I think what they should have done, instead of just having that one torture scene and then Pugsley go off on one, is have a backstory where you see them as kids, or they could be playing as kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Going through that whole torture thing a lot, and just playing up, because it sort of lacked that at the very beginning.
For me, there's other bits where, going back to the Uncle Fester part, I'm sure there was the scene with the conjoined twins in the film where it was like, he's got a relationship with them, and it was like he doesn't see disfigurement or this, that, and the other, and it was just like
he's just thankful someone likes him.
Yeah, but it was, and then I just felt like, to then just say you like the moon, he could have interacted with all those people that were dead on stage, and there could have been more to it than just. I don't know. I would just think
either way, you probably felt like I did, that it was a wasted subplot.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of wasted subplots, it felt like to me, on what's quite a linear piece of theatre almost. Very specific, very, very expected, shall we say.
Yeah. Now, this play is meant to be a comedy musical, but there was hardly any humour in it at all. Even the dark humour was lost.
And that's why I said it was meant to be an American panto, because there's not really any. It wasn't humorous. There wasn't funny bits in it, and to call it a comedy, there was only a few weird references to reality that Gomez might have used, or this, that, and the other, but they weren't hilarious like moments.
Do you know what? Even in the songs, they could have had something where it was humorous, a bit like I think I said to you, the Ballad of Tom Jones by Space and Keris Matthews. That was a song about them both wanting to kill each other, but it wasn't until they hit the radio that Tom Jones started singing that they decided that actually they had that love of him and started like singing together. Now they could have had some kind of musical number which was dark yet comedic at the same time, but they never really had that at all.
They didn't.
There was no humour in any of the songs.
So there's another subplot that I want to bring up while we're talking about it.
Yeah.
And it's the pointless Morticia subplot.
Yes.
Which I couldn't get behind, because it was another weak subplot of like, I'm going to leave because you're lying to me. Yeah. It was a bit like,
she wouldn't do that. She'd seek revenge.
So basically the subplot was Gomez knew that Wednesday had got a boyfriend, or what it was, that wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
And he didn't tell Morticia, so Morticia was going to leave because he lied, and it was a bit like, I just felt like, as this matriarch, you'd put Gomez through pain, rather than leave the house. He'd be shown the door rather than her leaving. Yes, and to leave a note and it's just not a Morticia way. It's
because they had that whole thing about going to Paris as well. Do you remember that?
Yeah. That was like a dream sequence almost, and that was a weird thing. Because they had done a lot, and this is what you got from all the previous intonations of this. As a duo, they've travelled and they've done things, and it's not like they've never gone anywhere.
But you don't see it on stage. You
don't
just get told it.
Yeah, exactly.
As well. Because
that's where Gomez flatters and woos Morticia, because he breaks through that exterior. Yes. And I just felt like we're creating a lying situation here, and it's a bit like, but this yet again goes to the modern day way of almost Morticia taking herself out of the equation. And I thought,
Yeah.
Morticia wouldn't do that because Gomez idolises her,
Yeah.
and Gomez would get in the car and drive off rather than Morticia leaving. It was just a bit. I don't know. And I think this is where the thing goes missing.
Yeah.
Because this is
where
the thing. But this is where the thing goes missing because they're your characters that you can talk to and talk your subconscious through. And if thing isn't there, you know, because you see Morticia talk to Thing a lot. Oh, Thing, what do I do? Or this, that, and the other. And Thing's almost like that confident that can't tell anybody what he's hearing or whatever.
Yeah.
And you haven't got that. You've just got like blank space. And I think, like you said about blank space, there's a lot of blank space in this. It's just like leaves you with questions rather than unexpected twists.
Yes.
And I think that's what I expected with this script almost, where you expect the Addams Family to have little quirky bits here and there, and this just didn't have that.
And also it had like, whilst it's supposed to have been funny, some of the conversations were that about politics as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was like...
And it was like, well, it doesn't really need to be mentioned at all.
It doesn't have to have a position in time or space.
No.
But no, it's really strange. Unless Morticia was standing for president, then that's
exactly,
that's different. But
unless you want to be the first lady.
But because it was that linear, it didn't have any of that. You know, for me, what would be even funnier was if you saw Morticia go to the Women's Institute.
Yeah,
that's when you get comedy.
Yeah,
by her going to a mother's meeting at school or. That's where you see that
she'll be so out of place. It'll be funny. It's a bit like what's the name from Schitt's Creek going to start doing a job or something. Moira. That's the name.
But that's when you create comedy.
Yeah.
If you take these people out of one and put them in somewhere else.
Because we did actually get the comedy from Mal and Alice because they were New Yorkers and they were so out of place being within the Addams Family household.
Yeah. And it shook their lives enough to want to try it out almost. It gave her, you know... that's
but I think the jokes landed on their side.
It did,
half the time.
Yeah.
And, also, I wanted to address the torture scene again, because what I meant to say, there was another torture scene with Wednesday when she was grown up.
Yeah.
Putting an apple on her then boyfriend's head because she was going to blindfold herself and then shoot him with the arrow. And now this is probably going to come down to props, but she wouldn't have had a modern crossbow.
No.
It would have been some kind of old-fashioned Victoriana
crossbow. It would have been
crossbow.
a proper one that
something from the attic
that the great-great-granddad would have kept somewhere. And,
in the crypt or something, torturing... whoever, years and years ago, it would have been like an ancient family heirloom. Because
everything would have been torture machines from wherever, you know.
Exactly. And I just, that, again...
It was almost making her look like Tomb Raider or a vampire hunter than actually...
Yeah, it made her look like
Wednesday.
she was from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, someone who's just fighting for her life, but she's not. She just playfully got these things. You know, she wasn't the kid that had a Lego set to play with or Barbie set.
No,
she found the crossbow. She found the bloody
she also had a doll.
Traps.
She also had a doll with pins to put in its eyes and stuff like that. You know, it's like,
again, we're talking macabre.
Yeah, exactly.
This is exactly what she should be like.
Yeah,
or have gone down. But no, it just felt a little bit too. I don't know. Something a bit weird about it.
At the end of the day, where some people would be typing a letter on a laptop, she'd be using a typewriter still.
Yeah,
that's the level of where
or quill.
Yeah,
in ink
exactly.
Or something.
You know, it's got to have that
a bit of a wax stamp to it.
Yeah,
yeah. Let's talk. As it's a musical, let's talk about the songs. If you remember any of them. Okay, so. For me, I was slightly bored by this, but there were some numbers which I thought were quite good.
Yeah.
And that was Trapped and Full Disclosure. because those particular songs I felt were interesting and meant something for the character in a way that wasn't necessarily thrown away.
Yeah, I think for me, nothing, apart from the two you mentioned, nothing really stood out as a I've gone home and I want to hear it again type of song. You know, that sometimes there's a lot of filler in these sort of productions, and it's almost very situational where you feel like the songs are just, I'm going to walk over here and I'm going to do that and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do, and then they just become forgetful because they don't have an identity outside of that. You don't walk away going, I need to hear the soundtrack, or I want to hear it. I felt like they just had the same level or the same style, so nothing had its own.
Yeah, this is giving me the same feeling as Muriel's Wedding.
Exactly that.
There's one or two or three songs that I quite liked, but it wasn't as impactful or moved me as such, or was long lasting. Another one was, I think it was Waiting. It was the one that Alice sang in the Grand Hall when they were all eating and they'd taken the potion or whatever.
Yeah.
And she was up on the table, I'm sure she was dancing and singing.
Yeah.
That was a really good song, but again, I can't remember much about that.
I think
other than her performance was great.
Yeah. I think we made a comment, you know, that you just, they felt almost songs that you could have put to other musicals. There were some elements that were a bit like,
it wasn't embedded in the actual show in a way.
Didn't feel like they'd expanded on the world of the famous theme tune. I felt like there was no iconic moments throughout because you need it to stand out, and I think that almost, because the plot's very linear, the songs were very linear. Yeah,
well, there were like I say about the Ballad of Tom Jones, for example. Had they have had something like that, or a couple more like that, which were funny, which were sort of on the macabre, I personally feel would have enjoyed it more.
Exactly.
Like Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, exactly.
The musical. That's on the macabre, and that was, a lot of them songs are brilliant.
Yeah, and you can still sit and hear them on their own, in their own way, you know.
Yeah.
And you know,
have you come here for a pie, sir?
But you know, for me, those sort of songs, even if you're not watching it, you know what's happening on stage, because you can visualise that whole, you know, it's like the storytelling of I mean, Sweeney Todd's a perfect one, you know, that whole iconography of talking about knives as being friends. And, you know, it's like the chocolate box of talking about something, whereas this just, everything felt like, we'll create a song, but it's not really going to have any oomph or any style to it. It's not going to make you want to hear it again, you know.
No.
If you think of, as well as Hocus Pocus, that had got, even so most of the songs were songs that were like, I Could Put a Spell on You and all those sorts of things. Even though they were already done by other people. Yeah. They turned it and changed it into something that actually became a Bette Midler song that you always hear, but that felt very witchy. That felt very, you know. Yeah. We needed that level of song in this to feel, definitely. You know.
Which is unfortunate.
That's a different production. It's not unfortunate.
Exactly, just...
No, that's on next year.
Yeah. And what do we think about the direction of this one? Let's just cover that before we move on.
I mean, you can only do what you can with what you've got.
Oh,
when
she
it
said
comes
it.
to
a
musical itself. No, you're all right.
Okay.
You have them. I've had a lot of tomatoes in the last couple of days. I wouldn't want to have another one. Biscuits more important. No, I think what I mean
you can't dunk a tomato.
What I mean by you can only do what you've got is the production's already been done. There's obviously a set way to do it. It's been done on tour and in London before, from 2017 in this country anyway. And I don't know. I think this is a fine example of selling a musical based on the title.
Yes.
Rather than the actual content.
Again, Muriel's Wedding, Titanic the musical.
Exactly.
What do they all have in common? Lacklustre music.
Yeah, lacklustre production as a whole, really. It's got the aesthetics, but other than that...
Again, this is at a staircase, and this one didn't move about as much.
Yeah, and there's no railing.
Titanic.
But I think it's that level of, I don't know, we'll just put it on and it almost like rush the songs. We don't need to work on the more fine, better songs. It's like, well, they've been written by such and that should work. Doesn't mean they're going to work. And to brand it as a musical comedy.
Based on characters that are creepy and spooky.
Yeah.
As in what they sing in the theme tune.
Yeah, but then that wasn't sang. They didn't use the theme tune much at all. And it was like, I felt like we've just gone on a complete different tangent, really, that doesn't keep with the ethos of the production.
If you took away the set and just had these characters in a different costume, this could have been any show.
It could have, yeah.
Well, I don't mean any show.
No, but it could have been a dysfunctional family that's got a very conservative family coming in to meet. You know, it's like coming into it's like Hyacinth Bouquet and Rose, isn't it? It's like, you know, it's the complete opposites of the spectrum. There's not much more in it than that.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it's lost its light almost. It needed more work. I mean, most of the characters.
I mean, what do we know? These are all just our points of view.
Exactly. I mean,
some people might think this is a 5-star production.
Yes. However, we'd
like
to dig deeper than that.
I feel that they are definitely wrong.
I think there was an element of, have they just told people to watch other versions of the Addams Family and act how they see it? Specifically with Morticia, it's like very one note. Did the director just let people do what they wanted?
Well, Michelle Visage. No,
Michelle Visage.
Well, Michelle Visage, she played this, and I can't imagine her just walking around, crossing her arms, and just being very one note.
Even though the picture in here, she sat there crossing her arms, stood there crossing her arms.
Yeah, but that's just one picture still.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
Yes, I'm sure Morticia would do that. I'm not saying that she can't, but
I know.
Every scene, every time she walks on, she's walking around with her arms crossed.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, do those arms not move? Are they glued into the costume or what?
Yeah, and I don't know. The aesthetics were there and the look of people was there, but I just don't feel like it went far enough as a production. So maybe how do you direct it more if the songs are already fixed and that's what you've got to work with? You know, they did a good job for what they had to perform with song-wise and the performances. You know, they used all the stage. They used, you know, and some things, the costumes may be fixed. The words are fixed, aren't they? So it's very...
I think we have to probably just mention that whenever we review shows, if they are shows that have been done before and they're just recreating it, we're not necessarily getting at or being negative towards this current production.
No.
More so when we talk about the writing and the songs as a whole, it's about the original input from the beginning.
Yeah.
You know.
And I wonder whether this was put on in the summer holidays, because it was a good gap filler for a production, for a good theatre company to put on in a theatre that needs to sell tickets in the summer to...
Well, I don't know. You see, I mean, it was a tour, so there'll be touring.
There's only two venues.
But to end, was it? But to end it in August, when Halloween season is in October,
exactly.
I feel this was probably not the right one to be done in summer.
I suppose it depends how much it costs to put it on as well. So it's probably the set was already done, so the set was already the same set, so they probably just shipped it in from its storage.
Possibly, but I'm sure there were others out there.
Oh
that
yeah,
could
definitely.
have also done, you know.
Yeah.
Like, who's doing dancing? Oh, it's Sheffield, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dancing at Lunas's, for example. That feels like a summer one.
Yeah.
But that's just started in the autumn.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny how they market these things. You know.
Moving on to our next segment, as we say, what the tech is this?
What things did they use and what did you notice? I didn't particularly notice much.
I mean, the effects were all right. The lightning and thunder and things to set the mood, and the lighting itself I felt was decent enough. It was, you know, it was a good... as we said, the set looked good. The aesthetics of the set looked good, and like the scene where the lightning was crashing behind the house and the windows, and it felt like they didn't over-egg it. It was it was done well to set the tone, and the house was definitely lit differently to the rest of it, and also the sound effects were good. That everything everything was there for what you needed. So I can't really say much more than that. Really, there's nothing that jumped out.
Yeah, I can't remember much about it for the technical thing. Like for things coming on and off stage, it doesn't.
They were all on dollies. They were all
I can't remember it being anything special.
No, it wasn't. It was almost.
No, it wasn't.
Oh yes, it was. No, it was more panto style though. Like we were saying about panto, that's what it drew me to, because it was push bits of set on, push bits of set off. Drop a tab in for the back for the house, and take it away for being in the graveyard, and so it's got all those elements,
Yeah, because the main doors at the back, they were rolled in, weren't they?
But it even felt like the scene with Morticia and Gomez in front of the main screen was just so they could change the set, which is very similar to the panto style of bring them out to the front and let's sing a song while the set's being changed. We know.
We know.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was it. Really, there's not really anything.
And on that bombshell, let's move on.
And now it's time for
Rewind, Rewatch.
Rewind, Rewatch, Richard. What would you watch again? Because I know what I'd watch again. I'd watch the grand scene where they're eating, and just to see Alice's song and how they're all interacting, because they're all on stage at that point. We've not got one scene with just a few characters. We've got them all there, and they're all sort of interplaying.
I think
nicely.
To be corny, I'll say the same scene, because that was the only one I'd probably watch again, because I think that was when you saw Alice shine as a character.
Yeah.
In the chaos of being in another world almost.
Because I think, if I'm right, she drank the potion, or she thought she did. No, I think she definitely did, where she gets to reveal what's on her mind, and she just started laying
it's like
talking
truth
stuff about her husband or something like that.
Yeah,
I think it was. Now, not like I'd want to rewind and watch this whole show again.
Nope.
Affirmative.
Moving on to our final segment, as we say,
Call This a Show?
What are your final thoughts for The Addams Family, the musical?
I think it needs to go back to the drawing board for the production, or the writing board, or whatever you want to call it, because this show is purely advertised based on the Addams Family as an iconography. Sorry, as an iconic family, and I felt like we got far from iconic in a way.
Yeah.
I just think it needs work, and maybe Tim Burton needs to get involved, because if he saw this, I don't think he'd be as
For me, these kind of productions, not necessarily Muriel's Wedding, but this and Titanic musical. I know we've seen that like years ago, but they're very indicative of branded products compared to supermarket products.
And Officer and a Gentleman.
On that one, yeah. Where you think you're buying something for the name and it's going to be good for you, but actually, if you look at the ingredients, it's so full of additives and crap and rapeseed oil and all the really bad things for you. And like the herbs, for example, if you buy herbs for a particular brand, they've got multidextrose first, which is sugar, before the actual herb, which is probably coriander, for example.
Yeah.
But if you bought the supermarket's version, you just get coriander. You get exactly what it is, and it just feels like just because it's got a name, it'll sell.
Yeah.
But it's all full of crap.
It's like,
and that's what it's given me very much. I know I've sort of like gone off on a completely different thing here, but it's just selling a show for the name, whilst not investing in the ingredients, the right ingredients, to support what it should be. And that's what it is. It's a branded product.
And it's also sitting back and watching and going, does this actually live up to the branding of a musical comedy? Because the thing is...
Now that's what I call a musical, was another.
Yeah, it was. But I think the thing is as well, is the Addams Family a musical comedy? Is the Addams Family a comedy?
Maybe it should be a dark comedy, or a dark musical comedy.
Yeah, and
I mean, what are you going to put? Is it?
I felt like we got a watered down version of what it should be.
Well, I know humour's subjective, but not many people laughed.
It wasn't. It
wasn't just me.
No,
and I like dark humour.
Exactly.
Night to Night, League of Gentlemen. I like dark humour.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, Monty Python stuff as well. Anything that's a bit weird or strange. This never even hit normal comedy. Never mind dark comedy or something spooky or anything else. You got a few laughs, but sometimes I suppose more of the comedy came from willing it to be over. But anyway, in fact, I wanted to leave at the interval. Again, this is another production where you didn't want me to leave.
And I wouldn't let you.
Moving on. Scores then, please, Richard, for The Addams Family, the musical. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being a ghoulishly entertaining musical thing, and 1 being a bump in the night that's about as entertaining as a stubbed toe. So, what's it going to be?
I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10.
I'm going to give this a 4. So, what sound effect will you be choosing from the following? A complete train wreck? Tumbleweed? An audible shrug of the shoulders? A slow clap? A pleasant applause? Or a standing ovation? What will it be?
It's got to be a tumbleweed. It's been a while, but it's a tumbleweed.
It's been a while. And I'm just going to give it a slow clap. So there we are. That's our discussion of The Addams Family, the musical. We hope you found it insightful.
If not, entertaining.
Stay tuned as we bring you more of our thoughts
and opinions
on many theatrical delights in future episodes.
If you'd like to get in touch, email us at upstagedownsstagepod@gmail.com. You can always join in the chat to share with us your views of a production.
Also, make sure to follow, share, like and subscribe to all our channels so you get every episode the second it's released. And we hope you join us again for another instalment of Upstage Downstage.
We saw this production at Leicester Curve Theatre. No. The Addams Family is a musical comedy with music and lyrics by Andrew Lipper and book by Marshall Brickman and Rick Ellis. Ellis? Is it Lipper or Leaper? Like Dua Lipa.
I bet Lipper, because Leaper's 1P.
Oh, is it? 1P.
Lipper is
Lipper.
double pepper.
The show is based upon the Addams Family characters created by Charles Addams in his single panel. Let me just. Oh, I can't enlarge it, can I? Oh, yes, I can. Oh, yes, I can.
Not in real life, dear.
No, I can't. Oh, leave it. The show is based upon the Addams Family characters created by Charles Addams in his single panel gag cartoon.
Do all that again.
Do you know what? I really shouldn't have put my bloody laptop all the way over there. It's practically on the other side of the room. Oh, there's my Zoom. I found it. I've got it. I'm getting so old. It's my eyes. What's my vision? Although numerous film and television adaptations of Addams's cartoons. Although numerous film and adaptations. No, god damn it. Although numerous films. Fucking hell, Stephen.
Doesn't say that.
I'm saying it. Although numerous film and television adaptations of Addams' cartoon. Why can I not speak properly?
Wednesday Addams, the ultimate princess of darkness, is all grown up and has a shocking secret that only Gomez. It's because I've not read it. That's why.
Oh, you think I read mine?
Yeah.
You see, when you instead of like looking at me tutting and bloody rolling your eyes, you should have been bloody learning your lines for this next bit.
I didn't tut in your general direction. Watch. Wednesday Addams, the ultimate princess of darkness, is all grown up and has A shocking secret.
I'm glad it's not just me that can't talk.
With his cherished Morticia in... Who's with his cherished? That don't make sense.
No, because it's a full stop, isn't it? Respectable family.
No,
She's fallen in love with the sweet young man from
with
a
whose
respectable family.
cherished Morticia in the dark?
Because it's with his cherished Morticia in the dark. Will Gomez managed to
Oh,
keep
get
his...
it now. Just I'm thinking because it says she's fallen in love with a sweet young man from a respectable family with his cherished.
Full stop.
Yeah, but it just doesn't. It doesn't feel like it links to Gomez because she's fallen in. That's what I meant.
Well, that's not what that meant.
No, but that's why it just feels like it's like you feel like you've jumped back to Gomez.
Talk about jumping back.
I'm going to do the lot.
Yeah.
I knew what you were going to say. Then.
I'm glad we're in sync.
No, they're not here.
Are they not?
Justin Timberlake, I doubted.
Was he in
Jordan.
sync?
Yeah, he was. No, he's not in your.
What's
sync.
he doing in
It's
sync?
not in your sync.
Why not? I could do with someone to watch the parts.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know.
Were you rejected?
With his cherished Morticia in the dark, Will Gomez managed to keep his Dorcas.
Dorcas.
With his cherished Morticia in the dark, Will Gomez managed to keep his daughter's secret until the two families meet for a fateful dinner with hilarious consequences.
With what consequences?
Hilarious. With his cherished Morticia in the dark, Will Gomez managed to keep his daughter's secret until the two families meet for a fateful dinner.
You need breathing space in there.
I know I do. That's what I was trying to find. With his cherry
Chapstick.
chapstick there. With his cherished Morticia in the dark, Will Gomez managed to keep his daughter's secret until the two families meet for a family. I'm putting the break in, and I don't need to.
Do you know what, Richard? You don't need to.
I don't need to. I stopped because it was there in the past. Let it go. Just let that comma go out the door. Leave.
Let it
Just
go.
Let it go. Let it go.
Don't turn around now, because your grammar's not welcome anymore.
I've seen a panto that's been advertised that's called Baltic.
Really?
Yeah, instead of Frozen. And they've done the poster exactly the same.
Love it.
Mine works because I was singing all over it. Mine really works. Really, really, really works. I really want to see those fingers.
What about my fingers?
Not working.
Why not? I'm plugged in.
Oh yeah?
I'm plugged in. Ah.
Yeah, but your gain's right down. Your gain's right down to the bottom. First twiddle stick towards me. I can't reach it there. That one there, the black one there, is right down to nothing.
Well, why have you done that?
I haven't touched it. I haven't. Say something now.
What you got?
Oh, I've got some malted milks or some fruit shorties. Well, open them then. You're still not coming in. Say something now. Say something.
Say something, I'm giving up on you.
Say something now. That's probably a bit better, but...
Is it better than it was before? Would you like to hear me eat a biscuit? Dunk, dunk.
Oh, Stephen, you're just not loud enough.
You say it all the time, why?
Let's see what happens. Try now.
What about now? What about now?
Oh, no need to be that loud.
Well, you're the one that turned me up.
Try now.
I keep dunking my biscuits for love.
PJ and Duncan.
Oh, you dunk them in your PJs. Am I alright?
I can hear you.
Yeah, but how?
You're getting on my nerves now. On today's episode... Go on, just try yours.
The trouble with biscuits is you just want to dunk and dunk. I mean, you can't just have one, you got to have one packet. Do you know what I mean?
What? Wah, ha, 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 ha.
I think that's the best we're going to get.
I think it is.